Hello everybody, welcome back to a GCSE maths video. In this video, we'll be looking at how to interpret data in tables, specifically frequency tables, because we've looked at distributions, but we must also be able to calculate means, medians, ranges, and modes using tables. So what do we mean by this? Well, let's look at our frequency table. So in frequency table, you're going to have two main columns. You're going to have a score, well, not a score column, you're going to have a value column, and you're going to have a frequency column. So how often does this value occur? So in this case, Ricky fired 40 shots at a target, and the table below shows his results. So this is a result of the time that he scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're the possible values, and they're the associated frequencies. So the first question is, what is the range? Well, the range is always going to be the largest value minus the smallest value. So when we think about the value, we're always thinking about that left column. So the largest value is going to be 10, smallest value is going to be 1, or 5 rather, smallest value is going to be 1, so 5 minus 1 is 4, because he's only ever scored between 5 and 1, so the range is going to be 4. Then the mode, that is the value that occurs with the highest frequency. So we look at our frequency column and think, what's the highest? We can see that 15 is the highest, and let's look at the corresponding score. So the mode is going to be 4. Okay, so the next one to think about is the mean. So do you remember our mean calculation? That is going to be our total divided by our frequency, basically. So let's work out both sides of this fraction. So first of all, let's look at our frequency. So frequency is just going to be 6 plus 4 plus 12 plus 15 plus 3, and that is going to be equal to 40. You know, he's fired 40 shots, so that is going to be the total frequency. And then we want to think about, how do we actually work out the total? If we had a distribution, or if this looked like a distribution that we looked at before, it would look something like this, right? So for all the times that you have a score of 1, of a frequency of 6, it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then you get a score of 2 with a frequency of 4, so you've got 2, 2, 2, 2. You've got a score of 3 with a frequency of 12, so you're writing out 3 12 times. And what we would usually do is just add up all of these to get our total. But that's not really feasible. So instead, what you're meant to do is you're meant to create a new column, which is going to be the score times the frequency. So you just times the leftmost columns. So 1 times 6 is going to be 6. You've got the score of 2 times the frequency of 4, that is going to be 8. You've got the score of 3 times the frequency of 12. 3 times 12 is 36. And you've got the score of 4 times the frequency of 15, that's 60. And then you've got the score of 5 times the frequency of 3, which is going to be 15. And then in our total column, we're just going to add up all of these, and we end up getting 128. So our total is going to be 128. So now we have both sides of that fraction. So you can simply put into your calculator 128 divided by 40, and that is going to be equal to 3.2. So that's how we calculate a mean. The next question is, how do we calculate the median? So what is a median? Well, the median is the middle value when we arrange our number line or our distribution in ascending order. And so to calculate whereabouts in that distribution our median value is, we usually do frequency plus 1 divided by 2. So in this case, our total frequency is 40. 40 plus 1 divided by 2, that is 41 divided by 2. So if we had our numbers lined out, it would be the 20.5th value in our distribution. So we're thinking, you know, if we were actually to write this out like a distribution, where would that lie? So the first 6 numbers are going to be 1. And then, you know, from 6 to 10, you're going to have 2. Then from 10 to 22, you're going to have 12. So between 10 and 22, that is where that value of 20.5 lies. And so our median score is going to be 3. Okay, let's try another question. So the table below shows the distribution of children per family on an estate of 50 houses. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. and we've got 50 houses. So what is the modal number of children per house? So what is the number of children that occurs with the most frequency? Well, in this case, we've got 18 houses with 2 children. That's the most common. So our modal number is 2 children. What is the range of number of children per house? So the biggest number is going to be 4, and the smallest number is going to be 0. Is that the case? Well, actually, no, because there are no documented occurrences where there are 4 children in a household. So we can only calculate the range with the data that we have. So actually, the largest number of children per household is 3. The smallest number is 0, so our range is going to be 3. The median number of children per house. So the median, remember, we're going to have to calculate that by doing the frequency plus 1 divided by 2. So how do we get the frequency? Well, the frequency is just the sum of all of these values. You add up all of these, you get 50. It's also given to you in the question, 50 houses. So 50 plus 1 divided by 2, that is going to be 25.5. So our next question is, okay, where does the 25.5 value lie? So first 14 values occur here. Then from 14 to 29, that is when the number of children is 1 in these households. And so that is basically where the 25.5 value lies, between 14 and 29, which is in this section here. So the median number of children per house is going to be 1. And then the mean number of children per house. To calculate the mean, remember, the mean is equal to the total divided by the frequency. So already we know that the frequency is 50. So now we just need to work out the total using that third column. So 0 times 14, that's going to be 0. 1 times 15, that's going to be 15. 2 times 18, that is 36. 3 times 3, that's 9. 0 times 4 is 0. So then we want to add up all of these. So 15 plus 36 plus 9, that gets you 60. So to work out our total, we've got 60. So to work out our mean, you've got 60 divided by 50, which is going to be 1.2 children per household on average. Okay, so let's do one more, and it's exactly the same. So the table shows the number of tests taken by 100 driving school students before passing. So already we've been told, well, there's 100 tests, so the total frequency is going to be 100. Okay, so the modal number of tests. So the modal number is the number of tests taken that occurs with the most frequency. So 43 is going to be our highest frequency. So the number of tests, the modal number is going to be 1 test. The range of tests, so the smallest test and the biggest test. So the largest number of tests someone took before passing was 6. And then the smallest number was 1. So 6 minus 1 is equal to 5 tests. And then the median number of tests. So where does that median number lie? Well, median is equal to frequency plus 1 divided by 2. Frequency is 100 plus 1 divided by 2. So the median is going to be the 50.5 value. So let's work out where that is. So for the people that took 1 test, that's 43. Then from 43 to 74 people, they took 2 tests. So already we found where that 50.5 value lies. It lies between 43 and 74. To work out that 74, I just did 43 plus 31. And so that already tells us that our median number of tests is 2 tests. And finally, our mean. So what is the mean number of tests taken? So the mean number of tests taken, that is going to be the total divided by the frequency. So already we know that the frequency is going to be 100. We've just got to work out the total. So that is going to be 1 times 43, which is 43. 2 times 31, which is 62. 3 times 17, which is 51. 4 times 6, that's 24. 2 times 5 is 10, 1 times 6 is 6. So we have to add up all of these. 43 plus 62 plus 51 plus 24 plus 10 plus 6 is 196. So finally, we've got 196 divided by 100, which gives us 1.96. So the mean number of tests taken is actually 1.96 tests. Okay, so whenever you've got a frequency table and you're asked to calculate the range, the mean, the median, the mode, the method is going to be the same all the time, basically. So my advice to you would be to practice using similar questions with frequency tables just to drill in that method.